My name is Robin Murphy. I've been a press operator for SAPA now for over 20 years. Most of us understand that a great deal of caution must be exercised when operating large machinery in the workplace. But danger lurks everywhere, ready to strike, whether we're fixing a problem on a 3,600-ton press, walking to our vehicles in the parking lot, or simply carving a turkey in the comfort of our own home. I know sometimes when you're working at home, it's very easy to get a little bit more lax about safety rules. You do things your way, and you work with the tools of which you have. I myself have been involved in a recent incident which involved the loss of a finger from my left hand and extensive damage to the rest, which I thus far have been lucky enough just to keep. It was the week before Halloween. I had decided I was going to make a coffin for Halloween. So I had a bunch of sheets of plywood that I set up my saw right here in my driveway. It should have been a simple cut, just like I've done several times before with a tool that I've owned for like 20 years. And I was cutting the plywood, and there was no guard in place, and the blade was a little bit too high. But as I was pushing the plywood through, the plywood started rising up onto the blade. My left hand flew up in a quick, instantaneous reaction instinctively to try to push the board back down. I felt the sharp sting, and I yanked my hand back and covered it with my right hand. I didn't know how serious it was. I just knew the sting was bad enough that I was going to need an ambulance. I called out to my wife that we were going to have to go to the hospital, but I had no idea that my finger had been cut off. But I was bleeding on the driveway, and I didn't want to make a scene for the neighbors, so I went in the house. And I paced back and forth in the kitchen waiting for the paramedics to come. And when the paramedics got there, they got me to open up my hand. And when I opened up my hand and I looked, I was actually a little bit in shock. The paramedic, he's going like, "Does anybody know where the pinky is?" And they asked my family if they could look for the finger and follow behind the ambulance. The finger had flown clear over the vehicles and landed in my neighbor's yard. All the nerve and tendon damages made it so that I am incapable of gripping things the way they need to be gripped. There's portions of my job, things that I used to be able to do that I'm finding much difficulty being able to do now. Some of the stuff I just can't do, so I feel like I have to rely on my coworker to pick up where I'm leaving off. Now I feel like I rely on others. So I'm just getting to the point right now where I have to learn to accept what it is that I've been left with. Sometimes I'm just going to have to learn how to do things differently. So I'm not sure exactly where it's going to take me. When things like this happen to you, you're going to have to go through a period of uncertainty. What I would want my friends and coworkers to do is to exercise that same kind of caution that they use at work with that large machinery and bring it back home with them. Take it everywhere with you. No matter what you're working with, I would want you to work with it safely so that you don't have to go through the kind of things that I've had to go through. It is quite clear that SAPA is serious in its efforts towards this endeavor. But for all this to really work, safety is going to have to become more than just a bunch of workplace rules that we follow while we're on the job and then hang on a hook with our hard hat when we punch clock. Safety has to transcend into something more permanent, something we carry with us everywhere we go. Thank you for listening, and stay safe.